I have returned. It's 2024, and I just kind of thought, remember when I actually kept track of my life and made these little memories and just put them on the internet? I thought about that, and I thought, maybe it's time. We'll try again. It's not that I'm sufficiently bored this time. When I first started making these videos, when I moved to the UK, I was so bored. It was COVID, and a lot of new things were happening, so that was also really lovely. My life is so different than when I moved here. It's actually crazy. So I just thought, let me give you a little summary. I moved to the UK in 2020, in October, and you can see all my videos about that from the past. Like from silly ones to walking tours that were, when they were an attempt at something. And from there, I went to training with the Army. I was going to be a radiographer. Notice the past tense there. And there, about a month in, I broke my hip. Technically I fractured my pelvis, and technically again it was a stress fracture, which came back to haunt me actually. The slight difference between a fracture and a stress fracture. Training was lovely. I really felt like, I had a good connection and foundation with my original troupe. I was so optimistic about it. I was having a really, really good time, taking everything in stride. When I got my stress fracture, I was sent to Gold Platoon. That's where you go when you're injured as a recruit. I was there for 7 months, and I was hardly off crutches at all the entire time. I think there is something about living in very close quarters with like 60 very young adults and sharing a bedroom with 11 other girls and never having your own space while in a mild to moderate amount of pain at all times. And knowing your career is on the line and your future is on pause and in ambiguity, that kind of makes you feel like a family, but also helps you find the people you hate most on the face of the entire planet. And I'm not talking about the training teams for the most part, but I will tell you, it was a rough experience. I think there's a lot that I look back on and I'm so thankful for. I think some of the most moral and disciplined people are in the Army. And I also think the majority of people are just terrible in the Army. Now don't come for me, alright? Hashtag not all soldiers, but I had so many experiences with people who enunciate. Those experiences, I won't go into detail, but a little unsavory, very sexist, racist, misogynistic, anti-vegan, basically science deniers, the whole 9 yards, were all there. There are a couple people that I still talk to who have told me that I'm very fortunate to not be there. And while I do still kind of romanticize it and wish it had gone better, I am so thankful for my current life, and I would not want to go back and change anything if it was going to change where I've ended up now. So from the Army, I got med discharged in January of, let me get this right, it's 2024. 2022. So in March, I went and I spent an entire month in the US. I was very, very fortunate because when you get med discharged, the Army continues to pay you for a certain amount of time. It's not predetermined. It's kind of a little bit of a gray area. It sort of has to do with paperwork and how long that takes, and it sort of has to do with your injury. So I took the fact that I was still being paid but didn't have to work and kind of ran with it. I was quite literally locked on camp, save for perhaps maybe 3 weekends to my memory, for May, June, July, August, September, October, November. I'll stop at December because I basically got discharged when I came back from Christmas leave. So 8 months, I did nothing except study in my free time, read in my free time, do inspections, get blanket punished and then told blanket punishments don't exist, and just enjoy/tolerate other people. For fun, I went to church on a Sunday, and to be fair, that was really lovely because we all had tea and got to talk to each other, and it just was, you knew no one was going to spontaneously shout at you. But yes, I spent a month in the US. It was amazing. There is actually a video about my time there, so I won't go through it again. Then I was really lucky to have my brother come back to the UK with me for a month, so we saw our family down in England. I decided I needed to move somewhere new, and I, knowing nothing about it whatsoever, got this random idea that Edinburgh would be an amazing place to live. I hadn't seen any pictures, I'd never been there, I knew nothing about Scotland at all. I just knew that I could live there if I was a UK citizen, and that it was a city, so I was really likely to be able to find a job. So while my brother Andrew was here, we went up to Edinburgh and visited while I was applying for jobs. Now, I originally applied to work at Dynamic Earth, which is a science museum, because I previously did that at university, and I like science outreach and scientific communication. And they unfortunately decided not to hire me, but before I knew that, I decided to just go all in, and while I was applying, move up to Edinburgh. So once Andrew left in May, I moved. I looked up a room on Rightmove, and the first one I saw was affordable for me, which in hindsight is shocking because Edinburgh is so expensive. But I saw it, I applied for it, and I got it, and I moved really quickly, and I didn't realize how imperative that was at the time because it's very competitive to find a place to live in Edinburgh. But I did it, and it is such an amazing city. Oh my god. It's so beautiful. I loved it there so much. I moved into a house with 13 bedrooms, an HMO, with a cute little backyard in a lovely area just south of the city center. It was fine. Eventually, one of the girls and I decided we would like a break from particular people, and we moved into a separate flat, which was 2 bedrooms, and it was right in the center of the city, right on Nicholson Street, actually, St. Patrick's Square, if you're familiar with Edinburgh. And that went interestingly. Why can't I ever, oh god. I would like a home where my space is respected, I get an equal amount of space in the kitchen and in the bathroom and all the shared areas, and things are just tidy and generally quiet after 9:30 or 10 p.m. because I would have to get up at 6 to work. That is a lot to ask for, apparently, because I genuinely have never gotten that from a roommate in my life, except for now, but that update is coming in a little bit. While I was in Edinburgh, I was volunteering at the Oxfam bookshop on Nicholson Street, which is amazing, and my manager David was so good and just a lovely person. It was a great place to be, and I worked as the drum roll please, it's long, I gotta remember the full title. The Multidisciplinary Meeting Coordinator and Cancer Tracker for the Gynecological Oncology Service of Southeast Scotland. I think it's the work that I'm the most proud of. I was hired to be a secretary, and then I learned cancer tracking to support. And then a month later, I got promoted because the person who was going to be the cancer tracker full time never ended up taking the job for childcare reasons, so fair enough. So I interviewed, got promoted, and then went on holiday for 2 weeks in November. I think it was my second, maybe third month of working there, and I came back and I got told, hey, we are gonna now coordinate and basically run the multidisciplinary meeting, so that's your job because you're the band 4 and that's what you agreed to do. And I was like, I totally know what that means and is, and I can do that. And so all of December I worked like 10 extra hours a week secretly, like from home / by like stealthily staying until 7+ p.m. on a Friday, and hoping that my manager and her manager didn't find out because they'd tell me off and tell me to go home. And I got like absolutely sassed by the middle-aged woman who previously coordinated the MDT, like the meeting, from a different hospital. She was so aggressive and passive-aggressive to me, and I genuinely had never met her, and I didn't say or do anything to her. I think she was so upset that we decided we could do it better, and to be fair, we did. I did, of course. And she just decided to take it right out on me. And I don't know what it is about middle-aged women in admin jobs, and not all of them. I completely respect a lot of like older people who have been in admin jobs for a long time, and I think they're wonderful and they've been great mentors to me and great support for me. But every so often, you just get the one that's a little bit like the devil. And I just couldn't honestly believe this continued throughout my entire year of working there. It was uncanny how willfully, blatantly, and just intentionally obstructive that she could be. And so that was a super fun experience, as was getting blamed for every single miscommunication and refusal to answer an email that somebody put on me. Did that sentence make sense? It was amazing to me how much I could be blamed as an admin person for other people not doing their jobs. But I had a great team. My manager is my manager in that job was the manager that I had while working at the Royal Infirmary doing that job was a very good manager and is my favorite of all the managers that I've had. I was really struggling with tenses in that sentence. I'm sorry, that was really weird. Yeah, I'm really, really proud of that job. I was resilient and adaptable, so adaptable and positive. I just did my best at not complaining and just getting on with it, and I felt I was kind to patients and kind to people who were absolute to me, and yeah, I think it was good, important work, and I had no idea the significance of admin roles in the NHS until then. It was amazing. It was a great learning experience. So eventually I left that because I had actually applied to do my master's in medical physics. I moved here with my partner, Peter, who I am engaged to, and we are getting married on the 19th of July, and I am very, very excited. I never thought that's something I would do, but Peter and I actually have quite a story. We met on April 1st, just last year in 2023, at a party for a mutual friend. Shout out to Cameron for basically unintentionally setting up me and Peter. Within a couple weeks, we just knew we were never going to leave each other ever, and that is like the cringiest thing I have ever said in my life. I asked him after about 3 weeks of knowing him if he wanted to spend a month in the United States with me in July, which was 3 months after we met. And he said, yeah. And a couple weeks later, he let me move in with him and his parents, or I suppose accurately, he and his parents allowed me to move in with him. And that's what I did. I lived there for about a month, and then we went to the States together for a month, and then we came back and we went to Amsterdam together with a couple of his friends to see my friend Nathan, who I interviewed in the past about being at grad school, who was doing a couple weeks of research at the university in Amsterdam because he has collaborators there. Pretty wild experience. We then moved together into this flat that we're in at the minute, and it's just so lovely. I can't believe it. I have never had the support and the kindness, like, unfailingly from anybody, and I love sharing my space with Peter so much. Our flat is teeny tiny. It feels like even smaller than what you would see somebody in New York City who's an up-and-coming artist in a film would pay $3,000 a month for. It's like that, but smaller. I just love it. I think everything is perfect. I like my work. I like what I'm studying. I like my career prospects. I like my flat. I like this town. Point is, I love Peter. I asked him to marry me because I didn't know where we would end up having to go when I finished my degree in August, and I wanted to be sure we could go together, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So, I'll show you the ring that I got him, and the ring that he got me later on. But there's a lot coming up this year, and I really miss you guys, and I hope I get to see you all soon. Unless I don't know you, then please don't come find me. So yeah, thank you so much for just catching up with me. It's been really nice to actually record all the details of everything, and maybe let me know what you're up to or what you've been up to. You can always, if you know me, contact me. If you don't, just maybe leave me a comment and just say what your plans are for 2024, or what you did last year that you're really proud of or happy with, or I don't know, what your dream was about yesterday or something. Just let me know. Let me know, you know? I'm hoping to be better about recording some of the things that are happening to me, and I think Peter will be into that too, so we'll see. Maybe it'll just be back to some random stuff this year. And there's a lot to document, so I'm really, really looking forward to it. Alright, that's all for this one. Get out of here.